Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another special Eid show. We're at the third day of Eid, so it's coming towards the end and it's about that time where we're looking down at our food bellies and thinking, maybe we overdid it. But we deserve it. We've been fasting for 30 days and this is a time to just kick back and enjoy yourselves. Yes, this Eid is a strange, unusual one, not just in Pakistan, but all over the world. The pandemic has hit every country. And right now, many countries are going through a difficult time. Pakistan is no exception. And we should be aware of the fact that there are people out there that are struggling. They can't celebrate the way we would like. We can't even celebrate the way we would like because we can't go out and there's lockdown and all that. So perhaps, this is not the way we would have wanted to enjoy ourselves and celebrate. But we have to make the best of it and we have to think positively. So to talk about Eid in greater detail, the third day of Eid in further detail, I have four guests with me. On my right, I have Ms. Mehak Khokar, who's a tennis player and an anchor on this channel, PTV World newsreader. Mehak, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for
Eid
having
Mubarak.
me. Eid Mubarak to you too.
And on her right, we've been joined by Miral Qureshi, who's an international football player and coach. Miral,
Yeah.
welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm well. Great to have you on.
Jazakallah.
Now I'll move to my left. On my left, I have Syed Mohammed Abbas, who's a cricket coach. He's also played a little bit of cricket for the UAE, and he's a regular on PTV World as a cricket analyst. Abbas, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum. How are you? Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Great to have you on.
I'm seeing you.
Yeah. Been a while. Glad we get to have the third day of Eid together.
Yeah, thank you.
And on Abbas's left, we've been joined by Tarif Qureshi, a young football player. Wa alaikum salam. Great to have you on. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you.
Right. Mehak Khokar. Now, first, before I talk about you and the fact that you're a wonderful tennis player, just Eid in general. I mean, growing up, how did you usually celebrate?
I just remember either we would go to Lahore because my dad's side of the family's in Lahore, or we would stay in Islamabad, obviously. But I just remember getting a lot of Eid. Of course, that's what all kids look forward to on Eid. And eating food, not fasting. Nobody was fasting anymore since it's Eid, so that's, everybody's just eating at their normal timings again and eating Eid lunch together. But I think the main exciting part was getting Eid from everyone.
Yeah. And I said, I was thinking before that we got Eid when we were kids. We should be getting Eid now. And
I still do, but I have to give it to.
You still do?
I mean, I still get it, but I also have to give Eid. So, I get it from my older siblings and
I think
stuff.
my parents should have a chat with your parents then, right? Because right now I need it, in my early 30s.
Yeah, we do need it. I agree.
Miral, what about you? How did you usually celebrate Eid?
I don't like Eid anymore because
that's nice.
no, but because we only stay at home and do work, and there's nothing else to do. And I don't like going out on Eid, especially there's so much rush and all. We only wait for our sisters to come and have fun with us. So the first and second day goes in their wait, and the third one they comes and then we have fun. That's it.
Bit of a downer, but all right. Yeah, fair enough. At least you're being honest. Abbas, what about you? How did you, as a child, how did you celebrate Eid? And what do you do now? Obviously, roles have changed a little bit. You have children of your own.
Yeah. I personally feel so. Like what Mehak said, obviously missing that Eid what we used to get from our adults. Now it's our time to give Eid to our young ones. Especially my children too, and even the family members. And because you're gonna have to stay out, especially on the Eid days, due to the COVID pandemic, the work what I have been doing with an organization, I have to be on the field, serving the needy and the deprived community. So it has been almost 2 to 3 years I have not spent Eid at home. So obviously I miss my family whenever the Eid is, and still I would say this is the third day of Eid, and I'm away from a family, spending it on the field and just providing food assistance to the poor needy, because the lockdown, especially the pandemic, the way it has hit the poor in the community.
I just want to expound on that further because you've been doing a lot of charity work, as you said. How bad is it? How bad is the situation right now?
Ali bhai, I hope so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eases up the pandemic, especially in the neighboring country what has, and we don't want to go in that footstep what India has been going on. And it's a request to the general public too, I would say, from your platform, that please do wear a mask. Because we whole day I'm on the field. The situation right now due to the lockdown, I would say especially, has really hit not the deprived community, even a person who has been wealthy, even he has been through lot of scrutinies, I would say, especially when the big giant companies have been gone through the business has not been what it used to be. So it has really hit the underprivileged, and I would say again that daily what you can provide food assistance, the food packs to the needy people, but it's not over yet. It has to go on. The government is doing a fabulous job over here through SR's program, but still I would say the non-governmental organizations, the INGOs, they really need to step up. They need to help the people who are in need, because as this time passes, and I hope it gets eased up, but the situation right now going on,
it's surreal, right? It's such a strange, unusual time, and yes, we all want to celebrate, but we have to celebrate in a responsible manner. There needs to be some simplicity right now, because we know what's going on in India, and facts are facts. I'm not just sitting here trying to glorify the Pakistani government, but I think they've done well. They've been cautious. Yes, of course, mistakes are made along the way, but overall they've been responsible and they've been cautious, and they're encouraging the general public not to overdo it. As Abbas said, if you go out, wear a mask, right? Think of others. Think of your family. That now is not the time to overdo things and be careless, because you see what's going on in India, because the Indian government was lax. They thought they had overcome the virus. They thought they had won, that they have achieved victory, but clearly that's not the case, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody who is suffering right now, so we should all be very, very careful. Now, Kid Tarif, you're much younger than all of us, so Eid, you obviously see Eid very differently. Your sister obviously has a very different take on it, not the brightest take, but how do you, tell me why you like Eid.
On every Eid, first or second day, I have my birthday, and then that's why I love my Eid. So our cousins comes and they live at our home for 2 or 3 days, but we enjoy too much, and when our cousins are gone and have enjoyed. Then after that, on Eid, next Eid al-Adha, I don't like Eid al-Adha, because we have to go the Dada's home first of all at our Dada's home. So I don't like that.
Did she just say that? Mehak, I want to be certain again. I love her.
The honesty.
Her honesty, the innocence of it all.
I love it.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. I didn't like it too, to be honest. I found it a bit overwhelming and intrusive. But anyway, that's wonderful to hear. Now, Mehak, I want to ask you about being a tennis player. What drew you towards tennis?
Well, it was basically because my dad used to play tennis, and my sister and my brother used to play as well, and I was 9 years old, and I would just go with them, just to, because when you're younger, you just want to do the same thing that your siblings and your parents and stuff are doing. So I would just go with them, but I would just be fooling around, because I was only 9. And then, but I would play as well, and then I remember I had my first trip abroad. I got chosen, because I would play the tournaments in my age gap, and I would win them. So in 14 and under, I got selected. I was around 12. Me and this other girl, Natasha, we got selected to go for a 14 and under tournament, an Asian one. So I remember when I went for that, that was my first tour abroad, and I was like, oh my God, this is what, international competitive tennis is like. And I remember coming back, I was 13 then, and that's when I realized that I want to play tennis seriously, like nationally and internationally, because it was just so eye-opening, when you travel and you play, so yeah.
I was just thinking, again, I could never be a professional athlete, but as a kid, just going back to Eid a little bit, one of the things we do, as she was mentioning, with your cousins and your family, so my mom would especially go out and get me something nice to wear, but I'd always end up ruining it, and she would get so angry, say, what are you doing, stop playing in the mud, but I couldn't help it. But that's something that stands out, because sport, I'm a sports anchor, and I played a little bit of cricket and squash in university, but younger, it was just a part of our lives, and it's also, I'm sure, a part of all our Eids as well.
Yeah.
Miral.
We do not get ready much, but we go wear the clothes and get ready, and then meet Dado, and then we come back and then stays in.
Dado's a central theme.
I swear.
I feel like if Dado should be here. Carry on.
That is because we don't have any other option to go. And then we end up watching up the movies and sitting in the showers, and then the whole day goes like this. Comfy,
Comfy.
Comfy.
Yeah. And that's also great, you know, around night when you've eaten and you've just gorged on all this delicious food. It's nice to just kick back, relax with some green tea, watch a movie with your brothers and sisters. I think that's also, that's an integral part of
That's
Eid.
the only thing we do, We download many movies so that we know we need to watch it in the Eid. And then we do not have any other thing to do. So then we go up and have some dance party. That's only me and my other sisters. That's it.
Yeah, I'd like to come to your house for Eid. Please invite me next year. I'd love to come here. I'd love to see, and I'd love to meet Dado as well. So, Miral, tell me about football. Why were you drawn towards football?
That because my dad was already playing, and my mom was also a certified coach. So they made up a team, and then we used, my Baba had a academy, so we used to go there with him, and I used to play with the boys, and then I was like, okay, we can also play, like boys are playing, and then we can have a girls team too. So I told Baba also, and then my mom did the certified coaches and all, and then she became the football coach also. So it was a very nice, very nice supporting family to, go into sports, or you can be the part of it. So my dad made a team, and I played my first nationals in grade 5. So there it just started. Then my dad made us the training with the boys. We used to do training in the boys, only we used to play matches with the girls. We do all the training with the boys, and then we were so good at while playing with the girls. Because we were already so competitive with the boys, so when we used to play in the girls, there was a quite different, you could see the difference.
The energy level was different.
So it just all started from there, that Baba brought us to the ground, and then we started off. That's it.
Now, Abbas, why cricket? What attracted you towards cricket?
Ali bhai, I have been doing a lot of shows with you, and you might be shocked when I would say that I was a football player actually.
Oh my!
I represented the school levels, I represented the college level, And I remember my coach used to say.
7 years, Abbas. I think you could have mentioned that. But on the third day of Eid, it's just fine.
I used to be a centre forward, and my coach, I remember he used to say, I don't know whether he there or not, Andrew sir, he used to say that, Abbas, apply for Pakistan, you might play for Pakistan. I said, okay, fine. So, but I remember because I'm born in UAE, and I used to play a lot of cricket down in the streets, and my mom always used to scold me, and she used to shout that it's too hot, why are you playing, and just come up, tumhara rang kharab ho jayega, upar aa jao. So
how times have changed. 2021.
This time, because I remember there's a picture, it's a viral picture where it says that the time has changed. This social media actually has overtaken your other activities. That when we were in the 90s, the mom and the dad used to just used to get us back at home, and now it's that mom and dad say Khuda ka wasta get outside of home. So it's changed. And I remember I used to play tape ball cricket over there. When I started playing the tape ball cricket, there's a big tournament in Pakistan, a tape ball actually is more famous than hard ball, the professional cricket, I would say. There's a tape ball cricket in Sharjah where you actually have the big guns of tape ball. They represent over there all around from the world. They come over there. And it's basically a fun-filled activity. You have a crowded place over there. I used to play over there for many teams. Then I remember when I was playing for one of the teams called Yogi CC, and I was playing with one of the coaches over there. He asked me to come to Sharjah Cricket Council and have a practice session over there. You might be good in the hardball because. And one more thing I would like to tell you from 7 years, I have not told you, I think so, that my family, it's a cricket. The blood is there. Because my cousin he's right now playing for the Surrey, Asif, and one of my uncles, he has represented Pakistan A. My chachu has represented UAE national team. One of the cousins has represented Pakistan A. So it's in my blood. I'm in the cricket, and most of them have been one of the best batsmen, I would say. But I have been a fast bowler. I used to hate batting. So this has changed actually my whole momentum towards cricket, and Alhamdulillah, I've done brilliant. I've represented UAE. I've represented UAE at the highest level, I would say. I have not played Qaid Azam Trophy, but I've represented in the Bukhati League, one of the toppest, I would say, in the UAE League. But there was one incident, the accident, what actually changed my life. I had to drop off. I had to drop off my cricket activities, but I'm happy for the way Allah Subhanahu wa Taala actually chose me for one of the jobs what everyone wishes to, that's serving the humanity. And I'm happy with it, and even I'm a cricket analyst for different channels, and I've been with you for 7 years now.
And I know a thing or two. A thing or two. Yo, that's a wonderful story, and I'd like to get back to that. You mentioned your accident, and I would like to explore that further. Tariq, you're also a football player, and I assume you were inspired by your sister. So tell me a little bit about that. You playing football and your favorite team, just overall. I'd like to hear.
I played football, and I'm in my father's women team, and now
What position do you play?
striker.
Right, okay.
Now I'm practicing goalkeeper also.
All right.
Yes, because there's no goalkeeper in Pakistan team. That's why I'm playing.
Right, okay. No, that's great.
Yes, so now I got I saw my sisters that they were playing in my father's team. Also, I said that I can also play. All my cousins and we come when they came out home. So we made one team and we play.
They make the house a football field.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
You started with that. It sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the buzz and the mirrors, and the stuff.
We always have to find something in there, right? Something negative, no, but I'm enjoying it. So, do you watch football, Tariq? Do you like watching it? Who's your favorite team?
USA women's team.
Oh, that's amazing.
But she watches Nora more.
No.
What more?
Nora Fateh more.
Okay.
Dancer.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, you're a dancer as well.
Yes.
That's a sport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a work.
Yeah, it's an
I won
incredible
the
workout.
first Pakistan dancing championship. She came third.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I wish I could move this table here and you could do a little dance. No,
But
but
that's a neat.
yeah, but still, it's amazing. So, do you prefer scoring goals or busting out moves?
No. I just when first match I played with my against my sisters in my Chachu's team. वो मेरे चाचू की team थी. So I played against my sisters.
She was only telling us. She wasn't letting us play.
Getting a sense of some sibling rivalry here. Do you want to be a part of
She
it?
was like, I'll not let you play today.
No, they were like in first half they did 6 score and in second half they 8 scores. So I was saying that some of the members of the team has to go out of the team. No, I don't want
Quite a
to.
memory there. Now, Mehak, as a tennis player, and I've asked these questions before, but I think it's important, right? It's very easy to talk about how well you've done, and you have done well, and you remember those moments, and it gives you confidence going forward. But during difficult passages of play, when you feel down and out, and you think, there's no way I can win here, or there's no way I can even show improvement within this match. What do you do? I mean, how do you then come out of that and dig deep and try to fight in a difficult situation?
So I think a lot of it has to do with your belief, your self-belief. Of course, there are points in a tennis match that you think, when you're down and then you make a comeback. Like, let's say, there's been situations before where I've been a set down and 5-1 down and I've won from, or I've been 5-1 down and I've come back and I've won from there. So, I just remember telling myself in my head that I'm telling you, it's all about the fight and it's all about your belief, because sometimes you're playing against certain players and if you show that same fighting spirit, you could beat anybody. But then, it's all to do with your mind and your fighting spirit. So sometimes if you're just like, no, I cannot lose no matter what happens, even if I have to die on the court, I'm just going to give it my all and I have to win this match no matter what. And okay, fine, you lose some, you win some, but I think it's the fighting spirit in you to not give up no matter what. Like Nadal says that he, it's so tough to do in every match or for every point, but like Nadal says that he literally plays every point like it's his last, like his life depends on it. I think, it's so hard to come with that mindset for every match and every point, but I think if you just have a really good fighting spirit, you can push yourself out of any situation, and you make your body just,
Adapt.
push yourself. Yeah, and you push yourself to limits that you thought that you could never push yourself to. And it's just about, there's no such thing as limits. You just realize that when you actually push yourself beyond your limits. So I think, that has.
Growing up, who were your favorite tennis players?
Nadal, still is. But, and also Serena Williams, But I think growing up, it was more, I used to like watching Ivanovic, there was Serena, there was Venus. I used to really like Kim Clijsters. But now, and even when I was growing up, I would watch men's tennis more because I just thought it was more competitive. Like, of course, there were women players that I really liked, but Nadal was always my favorite. I love Federer too. I used to like Djokovic, but I don't really like him anymore. Like, I don't. So there's Nadal, there's Federer, and I really used to like Andy Murray, but he doesn't really play anymore. So.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's suffering from an injury. I remember when I was younger, I loved Goran Ivanisevic.
Oh, he was really
He was amazing, and like he'd always get to the final of Wimbledon, but then lose, and then finally he won against.
Retiring,
when he was retiring, and he beat, I think it was Pat Rafter, the Australian tennis player.
And he was just retiring, and he won.
Yeah, Wimbledon was a big part of my home, and I think it also once in a while it coincided with Eid. Right, it coincided. It happened. So I remember Ivanisevic was playing Tim Henman in the semi-finals. So I have some tennis memories too.
Oh, and Marat Safin.
Yes,
my favorite. Marat Safin was one of my favorites.
So would you rather have the best seats at the Wimbledon final, watching Roger Federer and Marat Safin playing, if you could go back, or have dinner with Rafael Nadal?
Oh my God, this is a really tough one, Ali. Why would you give me?
I would choose dinner.
I would choose dinner with Rafael Nadal because that's like a once in a blue moon, like once in a lifetime thing that you can do. And honestly,
I think you don't know how expensive Wimbledon tickets are, but anyway.
I mean, you never know. You've got your whole life ahead to go to Wimbledon, right? But dinner with Rafael Nadal, you don't get that opportunity every day. And it's Rafael Nadal. Like, who wouldn't want to go for dinner with him? Yeah, exactly. And who wouldn't want to go for dinner with Nadal? I mean,
I'm with you. I want that as well. Miral, it seems like the way you've been talking, you come from a very supportive, energetic home, which encourages girls to play sport, to pursue their dreams. So I think that's a wonderful thing, of course. And let's face it, I mean, I can be all PC here, but it's rare. It's rare.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little about the encouragement that you get from your family to pursue your dreams and your passion.
My mom and dad are really supportive, and at the same time they have a very professional behavior with us. You know, we do not, you know, as she is saying, it's a fight from the mind, it's a fight from the heart, but we do not lose with the fear of Baba.
What happened to
you know,
me and my sister, we have played all the nationals together, all the single matches together. We only have played internationals separately, but for all the nationals we have played together. And we cannot play, I guess, we cannot just play against each other or something like that because it becomes a rivalry. We recently played a match and she and the other sister was in different team and me was with some children. And
I feel like I've gotten to know your family so well on this episode. It's fantastic.
Okay, they won the match by 2-1 and the whole week they were scolding at me, we won. What did you do in the match? We won. You couldn't do anything without us. And it was like that. But we used to play together and we sister are the two defenders in the field. So Mama were always like supporting and, you know, telling us the mistakes. They does not encourage us like other people, but they tell us about the mistakes too so that we do not do it again or we become a better player also. And my mom is also a certified coach, so she really helps us for the nutrition also, and she really take care of us in home also as a player, not like as a daughters and everything. They always keep, you know, an eye on us like a player.
Yeah, so that's great that you have such a solid support system.
We are so blessed to have the parents like that in this era because still people aren't supporting women, and especially the daughters, they does not support them as their sons. And the area we belong to is a very backward area. The women does not step out of the home or they aren't allowed to do something. But my dad has chosen a step for us. They just made it for us, so we always try to make them proud, or we give our best on the field, no matter what. That because all of the uncles are also national football players, so you know, it's something like, oh, she's the daughter of him, and then everybody watches like them, because Mama Baba was so good at playing and so good at coaching, so everybody used to see in the eyes of them. So we have to make the name there, we just can't lose it.
It's incredible. I mean, it seems like you have a very progressive, forward-thinking, loving father, and your mother seems like seems like a standout
very
woman, and that's
yeah.
and it's amazing that you have such a robust support system, and it shows on this show. Both of you have such wonderful confidence. I mean, you've got great confidence, and you've made this fun, and that's because of your upbringing, and that's wonderful. By the way, we should call this third day of Eid episode sibling rivalry. It's a great, that's what I think. Abbas, before when we were talking, you mentioned that you had quite an accident, a very bad accident, but you also got opportunities after that, which goes to show that no matter how bad the situation is, no matter how down and out you are, you somehow, and it comes unexpectedly. Something good happens, and another opportunity comes knocking. And I understand that you're now a coach, so a cricket coach for a very important team. Tell us about that.
Ali, I know, man. I remember when my accident happened because because I've not played again, I would say, for the first class cricket in Pakistan. I've played all my life back in UK and England, in the UAE. I remember when my accident happened, and it was a peak of my career. And I remember, because I'll tell you one more thing. Again, you'll say that from 7 years you have not said anything. But Sherazi knows about my videos. He has watched on the social media producer. I was actually in the UAE under 23 team, UAE, and we had a match back in 2000, and it was 10 when the openers were Michael Lumb, and Ian Bell was there with the England Lions when they were touring UAE, and we had a practice match, and I remember taking off 5 wickets, and that actually earned me a place for the UAE team. And I played 2 to 3 matches for the UAE national teams, and I was a part of them regularly in, I would say, in the probals, in the extras. But that accident did change my life, because I was at the peak. I knew where I'm heading to, but it actually shattered everything for me. I told you, because my wife, she's still on the bed. Her both legs were fractured, and now she's alhamdulillah better. She walks now, and it actually, like you just said, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has good plans for you in the future. I remember I used to think that everything is over for me. What will happen now? Where would I head on? I mean, I was a cricketer. Everything is finished, because I had a minor fracture in the left leg, and even I had a fracture at my shoulder. And the TVs, I would say, especially the television, and my career actually started on the television from PTV World, alhamdulillah. And now I'm a freelancer for different channels across Pakistan. And like you mentioned, and I've got a big role to play in the upcoming Kashmir Premier League as the assistant coach for the Overseas Warriors. And alhamdulillah, even in the future, I'm almost done with one of the teams for the Pakistan Super League. So yes, the doors are opened by Allah, I would say, and you don't need to stand up where you're actually thinking. The world is not ending. It goes on. You need to carry on for yourself. But again, rightly pointed by both females, that it's about your morale, it's about your mental strength. I mean, you need to be mentally strong over here. My family was with me when I had an accident. I remember I was mentally strong. I knew what I have gone through, whether it's financially or whether it's anything. But I used to be mentally strong. I never went into a shallow that, oh, my career has stopped on. But you really need to be mentally, physically strong to actually pursue your dreams. And alhamdulillah, where am I right now? I'm really happy, because Ali Bhai, it's a dream for everyone. Again, just not as a cricketer. Even if it's a dream, I would say, to serve the humanity, what I'm doing right now. And believe me, because there are many universities in Islamabad who actually who offer us the volunteers to support us for different activities, what we're doing in the field. And many of the volunteers, they do say that you're the lucky ones. Actually, you're chosen from God, that was serving the humanity. And everyone wishes to do that job, what we are doing. I mean, I'm happy with it.
No, I asked you that question because, even everybody knows pain. Everybody does. Everybody in this life, at least, does suffer. And when we're going through it and something happens, we think, we're in turmoil, we feel anger, resentment. But God knows that what you're going through right now, you may not know it, but it's actually good for you. And new opportunities, new avenues will open up. That's what happens. And just think about it. The prophets of God even went through such difficult times, be it Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Hazrat Isa, Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Yaqub, they all went through difficult times. So it's a part of everybody's journey. It's just about fighting. It's just about fighting and not giving up, as Meher quite rightly said. There are moments where in life or on the tennis court, football pitch, cricket field, There are times where you will be going through difficulties, you will be going through turmoil and strife, but you have to find the inner strength to come out of that, and you will eventually succeed. Kitarif, I want to ask you now, as a 13-year-old, you obviously have far to go. What are your plans going forward? Especially when it comes to football, what do you want to achieve?
My plan is this, that
Other than to beat your sister in everything you do.
my plan is this, that in this age, in 13 age, I must have to play 2 leagues. I must have to play, and any league, and one is that layer league I want to play, and
The one in Islamabad?
yes, that's the diplomat one.
Okay,
The national
alright.
is the different one.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks, thank you for that. Go on.
And second is that I must say that like my sisters have played national championships, and I have to also play. And I have 5 medals. I want like 70 medals like my sisters.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a healthy
Yes.
sibling rivalry then, bit like Venus and Serena, except except footballers. No, I'm sure you're going to do that. And again, if you keep working hard,
Yes.
there's no reason why you can't achieve what you want to achieve. I feel like you want to say something here.
We feel like she'll be more of a dancer than a yes.
What are you trying to do here, Miran? Do you think she'll be better than you?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm kidding.
But nowadays we are training her for the under 15s goalkeeper, because there is no under 15 keeper in Pakistan for the national team, so we are training her for that.
Does it give you more satisfaction? Are you happier when you stop the ball, or when you score a goal? When you save or when you score?
Yes.
What gives you more happiness?
Yes, I'm happy. I want to score, but sometimes I can't score. Last time which match we played, me and my sister played, and she was losing it. So she was
That's the central theme of this show, guys.
my sister gave me the ball, and she said, shoot now. I said, okay. I made the ball, and I don't talk to her. And then she don't. But she was like she like to be the goal savior, and I'm the defender standing here. You can't score. She plays as a striker, but she acts like the defender.
Well, anyway, I'll tell you one thing.
I'm enjoying this.
But I'm not a footballer. But Ali Bhai knows, because
Apparently you were, and you just didn't tell me for 7 years.
Because we have actually worked on one of the projects, that's street child football team.
Yes,
Ali Bhai knows that, and I've been part of it, and in the managing position, and I've travelled all across Pakistan and AJK, because my job is like that. And you really have such a talented footballer, especially the street child, I would say, who actually are talented, who have got everything to do.
Yes.
The street child football team, which had actually made.
We have a brilliant talent in Pakistan. Truly, rather the girls or the boys, we have a brilliant talent. It just needs to polish, and we need some platform, better platform.
I'll tell you one. I don't want to name a place, because when you go there and you just look at the female cricketers, especially in that place, they are such talented. When they go for the bowling action, or when you just go for the batting, you know what power they have. But it's again unfortunate that the awareness we need to make. The cricketers. Especially just not cricket, any sports. The women players, they need to stand up over here. I remember when I was speaking to you once that I was with one of the coaches of Pakistan Cricket Board, Syed Arslan sahab, because he was with the women's cricket team, and he said once that in Australia, how many girls would have applied for life boy cricket tournament. I said 10%. He said it was 80% females and 20% males.
Wow.
So that's the thing. What we really need to understand over here. We're working for the street child men's team. It's youngsters, I would say, but when we travel to different parts, we have seen football, the females especially, the way they have got talent. It's just that polishing them up, or just giving the awareness what they want. And especially, I would say,
we need to bring up the pure cream of Pakistan.
No, I agree. We're in 2021, and women aren't getting the opportunities that they deserve, not just in sport, but in all walks of life.
Even like the basic equal rights that women should get,
No,
we're still not getting
no,
those
absolutely.
in Pakistan. So even though, like you said, we're in 2021, but it's
But
just,
still we are far behind it.
yeah, we're far.
Very far behind, and I think we shouldn't hide that. It's all very well to say that things are
Everybody
improving, and
knows
things
that,
might be
yes,
improving, but we have to tell the truth as well.
Yeah.
We have to reflect, because if you don't tell the truth, if you don't tell the public, if you don't create awareness, one is never going to improve. As Abbas quite rightly said, talent, male and female both, is tremendous.
Yeah.
It's just that there are no platforms. There are no avenues.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Mehak, and I think you'll agree here, and that's why I'm so impressed with Miral's family in Kirtaris, is that there's not enough encouragement.
There's really not. I
I
mean,
think it is still frowned upon if women want to get into sport. Families more often than not are either hesitant or they just completely shut that option down.
so I think the part of that problem is our society, the way it is, the way it thinks, and then unfortunately, just the way families think as well, that women should just, stay at home, they should get married, they should be grooming themselves, and then I think women also grow up with that idea that, I can't go out. You can't do both, exactly, but I think the problem is that women think that, because, just because of the way society is and everything, I think girls at home think that they just have to, they can't go outside and play in the sun, like he said, like even just like basic little things like that. They don't want to go outside and play in the sun. Yeah, they're just like, we don't want to go out and play in the sun because it's going to ruin our complexion. And
Or the parents might send the daughter to the college, but not to the ground.
Not to the ground, because the women won't get married if, we ruin our complexion. Growing up, I had that problem where aunties would come up to me and be like, oh, tum to kitni kali ho gayi ho, khilti rehti ho. And I was just like, well, I don't care. It's a part of what I have to do. So, so you have to kind of like ignore all those things. And then also parents, they don't encourage at the same time, girls here don't actually, just because of the way the mindset is, they don't want to get into sports. But then also families don't encourage them enough either. Like you said, like they don't encourage them to go out and play a sport, participate in a sport. And that's why we don't have that many, because there is a lot of talent and a lot of potential in every sport in Pakistan, but the problem is that there's not enough women participating in all those sports. And it has gotten better with time, of course. Everything has gotten better with time, but I still think we're not tapping into the full potential that there is in Pakistan.
No, I absolutely, I completely agree. You've hit the nail on the head, but things are improving, but not quickly enough. What this PCB, for example, what they're doing is tremendous. They're now doing a lot of work for female cricketers, especially as far as maternity leave is concerned. I know that Australia and England and other countries are way ahead compared to Pakistan. But these are steps in the right direction. We should realize that our society is different, and we can't expect to leapfrog our way into progress, right?
Exactly.
We should be patient. I want to ask you, Miral, I asked Kirtar the same question. What are your goals going forward?
I'm the first Pakistani who's C-licensed at the age of 18.
That's amazing.
I want to be the Asia's youngest football coach and a futsal coach. I have done the futsal coaches under Brazilian coaches, Portuguese coaches, Spanish coaches. But I want to be the Asia's youngest. And second thing is I want to be the photographer. And I am working as a social activist also. So I want to run my some organizations also.
So full bag you got there.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. No, at your age, right, you should have all the energy in the world and use it. Use this.
I guess the parents should teach this, teach the children where to put your energy and where to put not, and where to put your efforts and where to not. It's just the simple things, You should always put efforts in the healthy things, and and the children are never they are too smart to know what's right for them. But the parents should always teach them that if you won't do it now, you won't do it when we'll die. So they should make the children before when we reach 18 or 19, we should be super strong. We should be independent on ourselves. Okay, when we see the foreigners or others, why they are so successful? Because they does not think of the parent that our parents will help us to getting education and then the job and then all. We can manage the job at the same time. We can manage the education at the same time and the households at the same time. You know, it's just about thinking, and it's just about how you take it.
Yeah, I think I agree with her, because abroad, like, we see how people are really successful. I mean, I'm not saying that's just the main part of why people are successful, but I think they become independent really early on in age, because, you know, they start working really early.
Part-time jobs, and
we're really, I think, you know, the kids in this nation, like, we're really reliable on our parents. Yeah, we're really mollycoddled, and we're reliable on our parents, and we always have it in the back of our minds that, oh, you know, it's okay.
Mama gonna get us this.
Yeah, we have our parents to back us up. It's okay, but over there they don't have that option. So they strive, they give their best at, like, whatever jobs they're doing, you know, because they become fully independent at a much younger age.
Look, yeah, I agree. Every society has its challenges. Right? I've lived abroad, and the challenges that they have there aren't present here. But I agree, you're talking about self-sufficiency. Being able to do things on your own. So I remember when I went to university, lucky enough to go to university, I was in a little town called Stratford-upon-Avon. I was 18 years old. You're 18?
No, I'm 19.
Okay, close enough. So
yeah, I just turned 19 in January.
That's great. So I was almost your
19
age.
January.
What? That's my birthday. I had a feeling that she was going to say 19. That's why I asked her. I swear that's why I asked her. I had a feeling.
We call that a coincidence.
Yeah, no, but I swear I had a feeling, Ali, that's why I asked her. I was like, wait, I bet you she was born in the 19th, and she was. So, yeah,
coincidence and a connection. So when I was there, when I was alone in a tiny little dorm room, I didn't know how to make my bed. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to use a debit card. I'd never been grocery shopping, and it was just a completely different world. I had no idea. Yeah, and I remember I burst into tears. I burst into tears at the bus stop. I was at the bus stop because I didn't know where to go. I had to go somewhere called Upper Parade. I had no idea what Upper Parade was. I just knew, like, Jinnah supermarket. Like, I go in my little car. And I still remember then this guy came up to me, and he's a Pakistani guy, British Asian, and he's like, bro, why you crying? And then, I don't know, and then he got me through it and everything. But again, it's a learning curve, right? We're all learning. Yes, every culture is different, and we have different challenges, different hurdles that we have to overcome. But that's all a part of life, isn't it, Abbas?
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know whether you guys might agree with me or not, but one thing, because I've traveled across a lot of countries, and as a cricketer, but I've seen one thing, that this nation, especially the Pakistan nation, they're hard workers. But it's like you rightly pointed out, you three of them, that what we call in our local language, it's that कि जब तक उसके सर पे जिम्मेदारी नहीं डालोगे, he won't realize what I have to do. Because what we actually have, one thing in our mind, it's that it's I would say the society or the background, what it's coming out, that one person actually runs the house and 6 or 7 people they sit and they actually enjoy. And this young ages, I would say, they're the best ones, because they don't have that I would say the burden, the responsibility, what they have to go through in the future.
We depressed you, kids, I'm so sorry.
What am I going to have?
What do I have to say on that? Even we say that Kash 1990 वापस आ जाएगा, that 13 years of
we would say the childhood was best.
That was the best part, I would say. That was the best part, what I would say, because never, like you rightly pointed, because even I remember when I was actually, when I started to travel when I was 17 years of age, when I played under 19s, and when I went back in 2007, 2009, I was the first time I went to UK, and same it was that I never knew what to do, because back in Dubai used to call it bus station, and used to call in UK coach station. So there were some differences. I mean, the language barrier was there, the sentence barrier was there, and even I used to get confused on what to do, but slow and steady, what actually I've gone through the cricket field, I would say, or the field what I am now, it has made me too strong that now I can say that यार मैंने घर पे अपनी जिम्मेदारी नहीं डाली. I'm a guy who has actually survived, have gone through one of the periods, and this is the right point, I would say. The age of 17, 18, 19 is one of the ages what we actually say, it's that this is the best age where you actually आप एक बंदे पे जिम्मेदारी डालो, and he would actually survive in the first time. This is the best time. You need to give responsibility.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, in life, you never know, anything could happen, right? So you should be prepared for stuff. And I think experiences like that, they grow you as a person, and they really, you know, they really build you into a strong human being. And then, I mean, just those experiences, like, they just, I don't know, they can really come in handy in the future. So I think it's what he said. It's really important.
No, absolutely. Now, Tarif, Uwais said he's traveled a lot, and I'm sure you seem like a very ambitious, curious young girl. Are there any places you want to travel to and perhaps play football or dance in a, you know, one of like a big dance academy in New York?
Yes.
What do you think about? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to travel to and show the world what you're made of?
Yes. First of all, I will show Nora that I am this. I want to dance also.
Sorry?
Must have shown Nora Fateh that she...
Oh, okay. I'm a bit off with this dance stuff. You go on.
And second, I must have a brilliant coach. I have to be a coach like my father, like my sister, like my mother, and I have to do C-license course and the BE course, and I have to do BE course like my sisters have done. So I have to be equal with my sisters. I'm equal, but you know that.
I feel like I've heard that before in this show.
Yes, like so in football, I will be equal to my sisters in dance and everything.
Equal, not better. That's the key word, right? Equal. Dare not be better, right? Dare not be better. But it's just so like just listening to her, Mehak, like how influenced we are by our parents. Just you hear stories about how children end up doing completely different things, but you hear more stories about how we're just so heavily influenced by our upbringing. Like my father's a writer, my grandfather was a writer. I thought I'd be different. I thought I'd be a cricketer. Nothing doing. So it's just it's interesting how that all turns out.
I think you basically, when you're younger and what you see around you, your surroundings, how your parents, like how you're brought up, basically, that's what shapes you. And I think, just like you said, your father and your grandfather were writers, you got into journalism. So I think even just the fact that my dad was always into sports, he used to play hockey before, and now he's the president of the Hockey Federation, and he was even involved in tennis. So I think just the fact that my dad was always really
an
into
athlete,
sports.
and you
he was an athlete as well, and then my brother was really good at tennis too, but like he just didn't pursue it, but he was really good at it. And he plays football, really good at football, cricket, whatever you have it. So it was always in my family. And I mean, I remember when I was younger, I used to always be playing, like in our house we had a big garden, so I would always be playing at home, whatever sport you could play. It was basketball, it was football, it was cricket. I remember being a cricket fanatic when I was younger. Like I was obsessed with cricket.
Well, it's clear that sport is a part of all our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wonderful talking to all of you. Thank you very much for coming on. Eid Mubarak to you all. God bless you. That's all we have time for. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Eid Mubarak. Stay happy. Stay safe. Khuda Hafiz.